Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Minnesota Milling. My name's Caleb. I am your Sawyer extraordinaire captain, and I'm just going to walk you through a video here for all of you potential customers, and maybe you're a customer who's booked a sawmill job. I just wanted to walk you through kind of what it looks like a day in the life of what to expect when we're on the job milling for you. So the first thing here is I just wanted to point out this is our winch system, and this is what we use to get our logs up onto the mill. So my dad and I here are up at the cabin, and we got a pretty large cottonwood here that we're rolling with our winch up to the mill, and we have ramps on the back side that you can't see. And so we're going to get this log up onto the ramps here, and the winch is just going to roll it right onto the mill. Now, the one thing I wanted to point out as this is happening is it's difficult. It's not easy. This log is probably 15-20 feet away from the mill, and we're going time lapse here. So this is actually, we're probably 20 minutes in at this point already, taking the winch off here and the ramps. And so it's really difficult process to kind of get the log to the mill, which is why having the logs, kind of all in a succinct order is super helpful. Now, in a second, my mom and I are going to start painting the ends of the log. You can see the anchor seal paint on the ground there next to the mill. The anchor seal helps prevent the log from checking and cracking, essentially, during the drying process. It helps keep the moisture in the log instead of having it run out too fast to cause the log to split, which is a huge problem. So it's a small fee, and it really helps protect your lumber. And it's basically just mandatory that you got to do. Otherwise, you're risking a lot in the drying process there. You can also buy any old paint. It's not super recommended, but to paint the ends of the logs. So right now we're just taking our cap cut to get the top cut off there, and now we're going to take some pretty thick slabs out of the wood for don't know what kind of projects they are, but we encountered a problem. We heard a pretty loud zip, and what do we have here in the log? It's hard to see, but I'll point it out. Right there is a nail, and this is super. There's some beautiful spalting around the nail, actually. That's what happens when the log sits on the ground for a while, kind of rots for about a year, which actually makes it really pretty. But we dug the nail out. It's not a problem. Our blade finished going through the rest of the log, but it really dulls the blade and causes a bunch of wavy cuts. So we got to change out the blades. No big deal. Blades are pretty cheap. We charge around $25 for a blade. And we hit nails all the time. Residential milling, it's just what's going to happen. So I'm going to pull the nail out here. This one's pretty easy. We got some special tools to help that process go quick. But yeah, just want to emphasize, if you have a tractor, a bobcat, things like that can lift a log. This log is a little too big for ours to lift. Here it is there. The nails. Our tractor couldn't quite lift this log. But having a tractor or bobcat on site really helps speed up the process. Another thing that we're doing right now is we're just slabbing this log out, and we're going to do one more after this as well. See, the new blade change doesn't take too fast for us. It goes pretty quick. Didn't have enough water in the tank there, so we got to fill up our tank. The water there just kind of helps keep the blade lubricated, helps the blade run through the log smoothly, keeps it cool. So we're slabbing this out, and it just helps make the process go faster. So you're not getting clean cut boards here. These are slabs that you can use for different projects. Another method that we could do is we could turn the log into a cant, where we square all four sides into a nice beam, and then mill down boards from there. That process takes a little bit longer, and I just wanted to show you guys that. Here's our stacking pile. We're just kind of, you can see that some of the logs on the left we have squared into boards on the far left there, second to left. We're going to flip it over, and these are our roller toe boards to kind of help move and roll the log on the mill. Once we flip it over here, we don't got much left. You can see in the left end there's hardly anything. I'm just going to take a cut cap piece off the top, and then I'm going to cut it in half. So now we got two 3-inch sections, and then our cap piece that I just threw off to the side there, which is going to come into play in a minute to help the drying process. So we're going to haul these over, get them stacked up here, and you'll see kind of why that cap piece is important as we get these all stickered up with our 1-inch sticker spacers. And there's the cap piece going on the top there, which is going to help keep the log dry with any rain that's falling over. It's just going to caress off to the sides and not be a problem. So here's our second log. We have it buried deep in the woods here, just going to use the chains to pull it out. So you can just see again, if we don't have a tractor on site, this log, it's going to be impossible for us to manually move that log. So, and this is about a 2 foot in diameter log. So if you're thinking to yourself, if I got any logs that are 2 feet in diameter or bigger, you just pretty much got to have a bobcat or a skid steer tractor on site to help move it, because manually doing that is just not really in the cards. We can roll it a little distance, but that was an uphill roll, so we really needed the tractor to assist on that. Also, having a few neighbors or friends out is super helpful to pull the slabs or the boards off the mill. So whether if it's me just milling, or if you, the customer, is kind of playing the role with my dad on the other side of the mill to help push the saw head through, and your friends are grabbing the lumber off the wood, it's super helpful. So this is another method here. We got the log chained up. We're going to just kind of drag it over. There's me trying to counterbalance the weight and get her up onto the mill. Got her there, and we're going to push it over, and boom, we're good to go. So now we're going to slab this one out. This is going to have some beautiful crotch figure in the middle of that wood with the two ends meeting up there. Get her cut through, and then we're talking about how we're going to stack it. So I'm going to take some pretty thick cuts. You can see the logs got a little bit tilted. Okay, too much tilted. I decided, well, let's just flop it over, get her nice and flat on the cross bunks. So now she's really stationary and solid, and that keeps it from moving around, which is safer. Got to have that. But unfortunately, this split was just a little too wide. So I can handle a log 35 inches in diameter. And this one's right on that mark, but it's just so hard to get it perfect. So we're going to just trim a little bit off the sides. I always recommend about 33.5, 34 is kind of the limit. We're going to have some real thick slabs here. And I like to just, once I got it where I want it, just slab it right through. Keep everything on the mill deck, and then we'll load separately, which is what we're doing here. I'm going to show you kind of how this looks. It just looks absolutely incredible. Beautiful. This is actually a cottonwood. The tree's actually in the background there. The two trees in the background, it used to be three, and one of them toppled over, just barely missed that little shed. So cottonwood, we usually don't mill too much, but it was just on site, and it actually turned out beautiful. You never know what you're going to get in the side of the log. I mean, the grain looks amazing. A little bit of spalting going on. The crotch figure looks great. And it's gonna make something nice. Not sure what we're going to do for our project, but the possibilities are endless, as they say. Now we're going to get back to the stacking and drying process here. You got to have 1-inch stickers, and you can see them in between the logs. The sticker spaces there help dry the lumber. If you don't have some, we have them for sale. I have longer ones for $2 and the shorter ones for $1. So you can grab onto those if you need them. Otherwise, run some of your own lumber through a table saw, and that works too for free. That's about it. We're going to finish stacking those up, and I look forward to doing business with you guys in the future. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Again, our charges are $125 an hour with the 4-hour minimum. We do a 67-cent charge per mile to and from Chaska. And then the anchor seal is pretty cheap, and we'll paint the end of the logs there. And then if you need stickers, just let us know and we'll sticker it up. So call the neighbors, call the friends, have them out. Makes things go faster and cheaper and saves you money and time. And it's a blast. We are really looking forward to our job and seeing you guys in the future. Talk to you then. Thanks for your time. Adios.